Hi, I'm McGuire and I'm running for mayor. So listen, this is an existential crisis with which I have lived my entire life. I grew up across the street from a paper mill that used to emit fumes so strong that the only way we could breathe is open the refrigerator door. That's across the street. And down the street to the right, which is a dead end, was a levee. And I always worried about whether or not that levee, the water was going to come and breach the levee, which fortunately never happened. And given what's taking place in the climate, now that river has much less of a flow. If you look at my economic comeback plan, which is the greatest, most inclusive economic comeback plan in the history of the city, at its core is infrastructure. And infrastructure is defined as how do we combat the existential crisis that is the climate. And so my plan looks to build climate resiliency, focusing on not only air, but what's taking place with a 100-year flood that comes every 5 years, building and making certain that we've dealt with coastlines that we have, and Hunts Point, and Red Hook, and the Rockaways, and Coney Island, and yes, in Lower Manhattan. We have a resiliency plan on which we've never executed. So the only thing that we have in reserve are sandbags. At some point, we'll have to be a little concerned about where we are, if not a lot concerned. My plan does just this. It addresses directly the existential crisis that could come at any moment, given where we are in climate. You know, it is critical that we deal with congestion. We're trying to get to net zero, at least 80% to net zero by 2050. We need to make certain that we re-electrify or electrify most of the vehicles that exist as part of just take the public system, the public school buses, 10,000 school buses. Let's see if we can't make those electric. When it comes to all city vehicles, we should make those electric, but we also, as we're doing this, make certain we have enough electric charging stations, that we do whatever we can to emit emissions, like congestion pricing, like making certain that we get as much solar energy and wind powered as we can get. We need to transform this city. We also need to make certain that we open up bike lanes and open up parks. Outdoor experiences are what influence and inspire our lives. So we need to make certain that we focus on that. You know, this is another essential issue in this city. If you look at many of the lower income communities, they have half of the park space that many of the better resource communities have. We have to focus on that. All New Yorkers are deserving of making certain that they have great outdoor spaces so that we can convene as families and so we can interact as New Yorkers. Parks are essential. I've been involved in making certain parks are essential for the entirety of my time in New York, which is about 4 decades. We need to focus on that. And I think back to the days in the 70s when Gordon Davis restructured the parks as the head of the Parks Commission. We need to return to that kind of vision today, especially in this current COVID environment. Outdoor spaces are key to how we revive and recover this great city. Listen, we need to have this as a higher priority than what it is. We collect 50% less than what we've set out the goal to be. We need to focus on that. We need to focus on composting. We need to focus on the things that are immediate, which we know are doable and can change the circumstances in which we find ourselves. For me, it's going to be the highest priority. Climate has got to be the highest priority, and we keep moving it out. We keep moving it out as though it's not the issue that it really is. So my plan is to address this and to address it directly and to make sure that it's the highest priority. We have no alternative. Listen, we know that we have issues of lead. We have issues of mold. In many of the lower income communities, we've yet to do anything about this. We keep talking about it. We keep issuing press releases, but yet the circumstances, the issues persist. At some point, we got to be tired of being tired. Enough is enough. My vision, my plan for this city, on which I have a track record of executing, is to address this immediately. We cannot allow our kids to be exposed to this kind of environmental injustice. And it needs to be the highest priority. I recognize that, given the circumstances under which I grew up. There was nobody for me to call. We didn't have any masks. So this has to be also another instance of this has to be the highest priority. We can't allow these situations to persist and talk about it and do nothing about it. When I'd make certain that we went and tested, that we have a scorecard, and where we saw lead, that we do whatever it took to remediate it immediately. And that would be my plan. I'd make certain that we had the appropriate people, the experts, the unbiased experts, who made certain that this was a priority, and we went through and identified where the issues are and took every step available to me as the mayor to immediately address it. Well, the green jobs are part of my overall infrastructure plan, where we're going to look to see if we can't make certain that the climate resiliency creates jobs, look at how we retrofit buildings to make them green, installing solar panels. There are a whole host of options out there and opportunities for us to create green jobs. As we create stations for electric vehicles, as we think about proximity on-demand services in many of our garages, retrofitting those, creating jobs to retrofit those. There are a menu of items out there, a menu of projects that we can undertake that create green jobs. And we also need to make certain that for these green jobs that we have workforce training so that the New Yorkers who have become unemployed today can be the employees of the future tomorrow. This is a great opportunity for us to focus on that. And oh, by the way, we keep talking about it and we're not being about it. Enough has got to be enough at some point, and it starts now. My favorite park, well, I got to tell you, there are two. I love Central Park, just given all of the vast and rich experiences from the Ramble to Sheep's Meadow to me going to the lower part of the northern part of Central Park and trying to make sure that I can use the bike to get back up, or Hudson River Park, and the extraordinary job that we have done in creating the experiences at Hudson River Parks. And so I love both of those parks. I love to play basketball in Central Park. I also love to play basketball with my 8-year-old in Riverside Park. So there's so many great experiences here, which I love, which my family love. We love the parks, and we go there quite frequently. I take the B, the C, the D, the E, the F, the 1, 2, and 3. Depends on if I'm on the east side or the west side. And I also take city bike, and now I have my own bike. So I take a lot of different public transportation. Of course I do. Compost. We're working on composting at home. We're being pushed by our 18-year-old and 18-year-old, so yeah, we're composting. You know, I love the loop around Central Park, but I also love Hudson River Park. So again, that's the fact that we have both, which are extraordinary outdoor experiences, just helps you understand how rich and how valued the outdoor experiences are to New Yorkers, and especially to our family. We're so blessed and fortunate to have those options and those opportunities, and we want those opportunities to exist in every neighborhood, for every child and every family in New York, all New Yorkers to experience, because that's what helps make New York what it is.